Hello everyone, today I will be telling you how to get all of the fragments unlocked for your Prismatic subclass. It is not like Strand where you just collect a currency and then buy them straight up. It's a bit more involved in that, a bit more puzzly than usual. But unlocking one fragment for one class unlocks it for all of them, so that's nice. When you first get Prismatic, you unlock a stack of fragments by default, and then unlock supers, abilities, and all that kind of stuff during parts of the campaign, in addition to a couple more fragments. However, in the campaign are 3 hidden fragments during the 5th, 6th, and 7th missions, starting with Ascent, which is the 5th. When climbing the mountain, look for the fuselage of a plane. Normally, you'll just pass right through it. However, if you turn right while you're inside, you're able to drop down a ledge onto another part of the plane. This part contains the Fragment of Bravery. The 6th mission's fragment is after the Pillar of Devotion encounter where you need to save Zavala. The game kind of took my team there with a waypoint. It didn't seem that hidden, but just follow along on screen to find where it is. It's the part where you're trying to escape. This is for the Facet of Devotion. Very fitting. The 7th mission's fragment is towards the end after you approach this weird war beast statue. Instead of going to the right, head to the left, and there's going to be a tiny hole in the wall of the room that you enter. Follow this brief path for the Facet of Sacrifice. Okay, now that you're done with the campaign, we're going to move into the open world. First, before getting any other fragments, you need to unlock the rest of your abilities. I actually don't know if you need to, but you probably should, right? This is going to come from the Ghost's quest that you pick up after you complete the campaign. The 2 quests are called Found in the Dark and Lost in the Light. These are required to do the exotic mission for Ergo Sum, which is the exotic sword, so you might already have a bunch of the stuff done by the time you're watching this if you've already gotten through the campaign. Doing this series of things will get you the rest of your abilities, and then you can move to fragments. Part of the experience of unlocking fragments involves memory vestiges and combining them into a full memory. There are 2 types, memory vestige darkness and vestige light. Darkness ones come from doing a chest triage minigame. These are found in the different areas of the Pale Heart. However, at the moment, they do not show up on your map if you are using any sort of chest detector mod in your Ghost. No, you're not going crazy. They're just a little bit harder to see. However, they typically only show up in very select locations in each area. The easiest to me was the Impasse, where 2 of them spawned somewhat frequently and were pretty easy to do. There are more in the Impasse, however, these 2 were pretty consistent and didn't require any progress on overthrow at all. They spawn in a lot of different areas, especially the main 3 with the landing zones, so just keep your eyes out for them. Once you find them, you could just kind of go back and forth between all the different chests, farming the chest minigame. After you collect 5 darkness vestiges, they will combine into a legendary version, which gives you a part of the destination to go visit, and then a smaller subsection within that destination area. For example, memory impassive darkness means you go to the Impasse for it. This is where the prismatic chest is located for your fragment. The 2 fragments for darkness vestiges are Honor and Solitude. Solitude is part of Impassive Darkness. It's located in a corner of the map closer to the Transgression. Just follow along on screen. Honor is the other one. This one goes into the Ascent mission area from Patrol. It's a pretty long walk, but it's in the area towards the top of the peak where you have a little small downhill experience. Again, just follow along on screen. It's a walk. Memory Vestiges Light drop from a different source called Cysts. These Cyst missions are from a chain of missions from Micah 10 called Alone in the Dark, where you need to save lost ghosts. Doing these is a good idea anyway because you can get red border weapons from doing them, but you'll need access to them to get light memory vestiges. Light memory vestiges were dropping directly from stronger enemies in this first Alone in the Dark mission series, at least for me. They're not like darkness vestiges from these chest minigames. However, people are experiencing issues where they can't get any light vestiges from certain Cyst missions. My advice, which I'm not sure if this actually works, but my advice would be to just get a legendary light vestige from a Cyst event, whichever one happens to be working for you, immediately leave and go get the fragment from that respective chest, and then just come back to the same Cyst that's actually working for you and just keep farming like that. Let me know if that even works. Otherwise, it took me another 3 Cyst missions to be able to collect more light vestiges. Also, there may be an issue where you can collect more than 5 vestiges, as if you have a legendary vestige, your blue ones will not auto-convert into a new legendary one. So you might have to delete some to get under 5, so that way when you get another, it'll combine properly. This is just a little bit of an annoyance right now, but hopefully it'll get a little more smoothed out along the way. Anyway, there are 3 fragments to collect from the light vestiges. Memory Seclusion of Light is for Facet of Dominance. Head to the Blooming and then to the Seclusion, aka Zavala's house, and go towards the waterfall. It's going to be high up on some rocks. Memory Refractions of Light is for Facet of Awakening. Go back to the Blooming and head towards the Refraction this time. The chest is really high up in the trees in the area where you're supposed to be for the chest. Look for the near objective buff to tell if you're in the right area. Memory Blooming of Light is for Facet of Generosity. Head to the Blooming, and actually stay there this time, and head towards the upper level of the big tree area, and the chest is going to be in the roots, about 3 o'clock on the map. Next up, we have some fragments that are just out in the wild that require you to solve some kind of a puzzle or combat experience. Let's start in the outskirts, aka the area where you walk through after you enter the Traveler in the first mission. For this, we're looking for 4 ghosts, which we can scan for. Remember how the ghost would make this little beep boop noise and an icon in the top right would appear whenever you could do some like lore thing? That's what you're going to use here to find the ghosts. When the icon in the top right appears of your ghost, take out your ghost. The ghost will face in the direction of a ghost that you can interact with. There are 4 of these in the area, all leading back towards where you first came in during the campaign. And here they are now. After collecting all 4, continue your way outside and complete this combat experience. Pick up the mote dropped from the boss, and you can use it to open the chest for Facet of Mending. Every boss will drop this mote, make sure you pick it up. The next one is in the next area after the outskirts, closer to the Lost City. This one is a bit easier, it just has a lot of running around. If you're coming from Micah 10, as soon as you reach this courtyard, head to the right to deal with some enemies. You're going to defeat a Gordian Weaver, and you're going to get the prompt, First Omen is defeated. You'll then head to the opposite side to kill another. Then you'll head back to the other side again, but take the other route for the final one. So instead of like going straight back, you kind of make a left. Come back to the main courtyard to do the combat experience here. The chest is located where the first omen was. Crack that open for Facet of Grace. Next, we'll do Facet of Command. This one involves going into the divide from the impasse. Make your way inside and just keep going until you see the prismatic chest. It'll be very easy to spot. In a room very close by, jump through a window to access a machine that's going to drop you a Scorch Cannon. Shoot the cannon at the 2 machines in the same room. These machines need to be charged with elemental charges. Arc gives 2 charge, Solar gives 3, and Void gives 4, and each machine needs 10 energy on the dot. Around this area are piles of white rocks, whatever you want to call them, that can only be destroyed by the Scorch Cannon. So essentially you're just running around this area with the cannon, going back and forth, depositing charges into both of the machines. Once you hit 10 on both, a combat scenario is going to start. Then when you're done, you pick up the mote and you open the chest. Next up is Facet of Defiance. This goes the other direction from the impasse towards the transgression. Head through the first main area into the second. When you hit the second area, head off to the left into a cave that requires the Shielded from Darkness buff that you experienced during the campaign. Go all the way into the cave and start the combat sequence by this thing that you activate. This combat experience requires you to shoot eyes that will be hidden throughout the cave in increasing numbers. After 3 waves of this, head back to the thing that you used to start the encounter for another combat scenario, much like all the other ones that you've done. Pick up the mote from the boss, grab your fragment. Last is the Facet of Justice. This is towards the beginning of the campaign. I believe it's the Ikora mission. Head to the landing and go east towards the refraction. Just follow along on screen. When you get to this room, you'll see a solar crystal upstairs along with 3 hive rune symbols. There are 10 different places where you can slot this crystal. You can just brute force this if you really want, but holding the crystal upstairs and then looking towards the center of the room will reveal the hive rune symbols in different positions. Simply place the solar crystal in the corresponding rune locations 3 times to start the combat scenario. Complete the combat, and you will have another fragment. that should be all of them. It'll take you a little bit of time to earn all of them. This is not going to happen in like 30 minutes or anything. But if you plan on going into the day 1 raid, you probably should get all of them if you think you're going to be using Prismatic. I think you should, but it's totally up to you. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.